Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Creane, and I'm an immersive theater maker and a game designer. And I create, among other things, interactive experiences about grief and eco-anxiety. And this is my pitch for you to invite me to your next game night. I'm kidding, unless you want to, in which case, I love a game night. No pressure. With the full knowledge that the deck is a little bit stacked against me, I want to assert that working through our grief through play is possible, a good idea, not as scary as it sounds, and fun. I know that last one seems like a contradiction. And I also know that no one who made it to this summit is daunted by seemingly impossible tasks or unconventional solutions to intractable problems. The problem that I am currently working through in my medium of choice is a response to this question. How do we reinterpret this amorphous feeling that life and death happen to us? And this question, what would it be like to have agency over our own death? Immersive theater is an incredible medium for exploring the answers to these particular questions. It is a training ground for agency in that we enter into a fictional world together. We get to test out these new aspects of ourselves in this safe and temporary guided space, and then we leave. And there's tons of research around this that I don't have time to get into today, but there are a few key principles that are worth knowing about. And the best way to understand them, short of experiencing them for yourselves, is by example. So here is an example. This is a show that I wrote called Tea Party at the End of the World. It is a show that invites about 18 guests at a time to a tea party hosted by a character grappling with what it means to die someday. So totally normal, sort of cliche tea party. It's funny, it's interactive, and it is also deeply personal. There are three things I talk about in the show. One of them is my low-key obsession with loose leaf tea. The second is my dad, who died in 2016, who I grieve. And the third is my time at an artist residency up in the Arctic Circle. Most people hear that and they think, whoa, that is so cool. The residency bit, not the dead dad bit. And they are correct. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done. I had braced myself before going up there to feel really sad for weeks, knowing that I was going to this place that is this iconic image of a warming planet. What I did not prepare for was standing on this boat where the residency took place, looking up at a calving glacier, scanning the horizon for the next chunk of ice to fall into the sea, hoping I didn't miss it. I'll say that again. I was standing in the Arctic, looking at a glacier, hoping I would see it melt. Now that is an uncomfortable reaction then, and it is an uncomfortable reaction, we're counting it now, especially in this esteemed company, but it was so beautiful and so moving. And I was so happy to be there and also so guilty for being so happy and also so full of obligation because it was my job as an artist to translate this experience into something worthwhile for others. And that is a lot of pressure to stop feeling happy and to do something serious. But I wasn't alone in the experience that I was having. Everyone on this ship was excited watching these glaciers move and melt, which sort of cut the shame off at the knees. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing, but it is a true thing and it is a complex thing. And this is what the show ended up being about. The fact that grief and joy coexist in really unexpected ways. And it is only when we try to separate them that we isolate ourselves and shame creeps in. And we don't do our best or most creative work when we are despairing or guilty or alone. We do it when we are in community, joking, playful, and seen. And when we can share our stories with strangers and sit together and sip and smell teas and explore where in our bodies we feel grief and hope. And when we can touch hands to the people next to us to practice how hard it is to reach out and how hard it is to let go in our bodies. And by embracing joyful uncertainty by playing a series of parlor games, sorry, tiny typo, no big deal, nothing to worry about. Parlor games that are made for this piece, things that ask us to consider who and what we would want to be present with us when we die, and how we might use our death for good far, far in the future. Because grief is a contact sport, and it is a team sport, and we need to train for it. We need experiences, immersive and otherwise, that help bring us into contact with others and our senses and our contradictions to process grief. With that in mind, let's take our last few moments to end on a high note by imagining our own deaths far, far in the future. Please feel free to close your eyes. It is the end of your world. Who is there? What do you see, smell, taste? If you're like me, what is your final tea? Is your death peaceful or is it an act of resistance? Is it happening to you or have you chosen this moment with care and communal support? Whatever narrative you have around death, your own, others, the planet, Remember that it is shifting and changing, and it is okay if it is messy, and you are not alone. Thank you.